guys, Artosis here with some more KCM Race Survival B Series. We have Mighty right now representing Team Protoss, doing a fantastic job. He's won a couple maps already, and now we get our next Terran competitor to go up against him. It's going to be Scan, which of course you guys know Scan very well. A good friend of mine. We have a lot of casts of his on this channel, and he happens to be in this Race Survival series. So, yeah, let's see what he can do here against Mighty. The map is Largo. So, this is one of my favorite maps for this matchup. I think it's a really interesting map. And we'll get more into that. But first, I do want to, once again, thank StarCast TV and cruisers specifically from StarCast TV for hooking me up with the Race Survival B series. Absolutely fantastic. It's such a fun match. You know, I think it's something that's really perfect for you guys as well because, I mean, here's the thing. I like mirror matches, but in general, people like to see Protoss vs. Zerg, Terran vs. Zerg, Protoss vs. Terran, right? And that's basically what this is. It's just all those matches over and over and over. So once again, this is week number 1. This is game number 3, and we'll see how this ends up going. All right. So, yeah, it looks like just a gateway to open here over on Scan side. We'll see if he does take that gas momentarily, or he's going to go for a more economic opener. Yeah, it's going to be a more economic opener. We'll see if he goes second depot, or if he is going to go ahead and just go for like a 15 command center. So SCV going out to scout right now here. For Scan on about 13 supply. Mighty throwing down the cybernetics core as well as his gas before finally sending his scout out. We'll see which direction that he goes into. If he goes to the right, that's really going to be good for him. Yeah, and Scan, unfortunately for Scan, he is scouting in the wrong direction. So he's going to find Mighty a lot later than Mighty is going to find him. And of course, when Mighty gets over here, it's very likely Scan will throw down his own gas. Now, he is going for the second depot. This is actually a build that basically Scan told me about, that he and Light both kind of came up with on their own, which is the 2 depot fast command center build. And basically what it does is you can punish a Nexus first theoretically with it, and it's a little bit safer against things like Zealot openings. You get a few more Marines. It's a slightly slower command center, but look how quick this CC is. That's really, really good. Very healthy. Range starting over here, a goon as well. These Marines coming out to chase the probe, but they do turn around. He knows if he goes out here chasing the probe and a Zealot comes in from behind, he's screwed. So good thing to pull back. Now the probe and Zealot coming. 2 Marines cannot fight against that. He has got to pull back immediately. He tries to pick off the... Oh, he does, in fact. Picks that off beautifully. Comes up the ramp. 2 more SCVs coming. Scan super, super serious about dealing with this. And Mighty with some fantastic Zealot micros so far here. Oh my god. Really got maximal damage out. Look at that. 8 health, 3 health left on these Marines. There is a Dragoon on the way, so this is a little bit dire. The Dragoon can one-shot 2 of these Marines. It takes 3 full health Marines to really fight off a Dragoon, so a tough situation. He's going to fight with these SCVs. More Marines still being made. And, of course, he is getting ready to make that factory as well, but he's already lost 3 Marines to this Dragoon, so everything working out pretty well for Mighty so far, but the bunker finally gets up. A Marine is inside it. We have the factory started as well, but range is almost done, so Mighty going to be rallying some Dragoons over and putting that pressure on, no doubt. Going to be a lot of repairing going on for Scan, but honestly, looking at this situation, I think that this is slight advantage Scan. I think Mighty did very well with the situation. He forced like a lot more Marines. He killed quite a few. The Zealot didn't really matter, so it was good to trade that for what he did. And now he's going to put a lot of pressure on this bunker for a very long time. But look, the Nexus just started, and Scan already has this up. He's already going up in the SCV count. Look at this, the second factory on the way. And yeah, I got to say, I think it's pretty solid for Scan here. Now, you are losing a decent amount of minerals through this repair. Well, the repair itself costs very little, but the lost mining time is actually higher than that. Moves that SCV to the right just a little bit, so he can pop another Marine in here. You are going to want 3 or 4 Marines in there, so when your siege tank comes out, it can still have some extra support for it. Okay. Gets that 4th SCV on. Has to lift the racks for a second. You only need 1 SCV per Dragoon, but you got to be careful. If you run out of minerals or something, they'll stop. So to get it repaired all the way is smart as well. Looking back over here at Mighty's base, he's got a robo facility as well as the 2nd gateway on the way. So it looks like probably 2-gate observer. Could end up being a Reaver as well after that. Siege mode is on the way. 2nd factory's add-on coming as well. And he really does need that siege mode. You can see he actually started it before the siege tank there, which is going to be pretty standard. Against 4 Dragoons, you can't really bring up a siege tank to attack them because they'll dive on it. Because it only takes 2 volleys for 4 Dragoons to kill a siege tank. So yeah, as soon as you see 4, siege mode is the right play. Let's take a look over here. Yep, observatory is done. Observer on the way. More Dragoons coming over. 5th Dragoon coming up as well. Ooh, he's got to be careful about this. Doesn't... Ooh, see? Yeah, they start to take the step forward, but Scan pulls back in time. Siege mode is done. Mighty going to get a few extra hits off on this bunker and then, of course, pull back. So there you go. The early game is over. We now enter the mid. Gas on the way. Mighty with the 3rd Nexus very, very quickly. He's seen siege mode, so he knows he's completely safe. There is no siege mode. Siege up, push the goons back, and then attack immediately build. But Scan, I mean, he might try a pressure play. It's possible. Like, look, he's getting speed and mines. He's got 3 tanks. Like, he can try to push out with Marine tank and bring the Vultures, but I'm not sure he's going to do that, right? The Observer flies in. He's only got 3 Marines. It doesn't feel like he has any potential to get anything done, but with speed and mines, at least he can get on the map and kind of see what's what, right? Well, maybe in a minute. He loses the first Vulture there to this huge line of Dragoons that are just kind of pressuring him, you know, doing a little bit of a containment. So Scan bringing up some siege tanks here. Oh, I was wondering if he might jump upon that, because he could pick off these 2, but he would probably lose like 4 goons. He might be a little bit worried about Vultures getting on the map after that. Yeah, nice little bait there from Scan. Starts to run out one way. The goons try to block, take some siege tank hits, and now the Vultures are out. So Scan going to get some vision on the map. Oh, I love this positioning. Not only does he help to wall in his expansion, but he's hidden the... you know, the support bait from scans. Now, like ComSat scans, right? Not the player scan, but I guess it's the same in this case. Now, the Vultures come out, so they actually do end up seeing it, but if instead of going speed, he had gone for, like, a quicker academy to get those scans off to try to scout, then this would have been something that was tricky. All right, so the shuttle is out. Reaver on the way. A couple Zealots coming up as well. Scan going to be able to build his turrets easily in time since he did see that. Still on that 2-factory production. Let's take a look. Does he... Okay, yeah, he has the armory here. It is finished. He is upgrading that +1. And now we get to see if Mighty can get some harassment done. You can see his supply starting to peak up a little bit higher than Scan's here. Definitely has a little bit more production. Has that forge up and ready for some upgrades. 2nd gas is mining. Continue to produce those probes as well. Oh, I don't know about this. Oh my god, I don't know about this. This is kind of crazy. Oh, that was a sick scarab there. But it gets targeted down shortly thereafter. 2 tanks not in siege mode. Might be the saving grace here for Scan. He can pull these back relatively easily. But the goons are jumping on him. Okay, so Mighty loses most everything, right? Like, he lost a lot of health on this, the 2 Zealots, the Reaver, and then like 6 goons or 7 goons died. But he got maybe 4 tanks. Yeah, I think it was a little bit better for Scan, especially considering what Scan is going for here, right? Like, he's building a 3rd base on location. As long as he holds on to this, then he's in pretty decent shape because his economy is really going to be very nice. He's going to be able to replace those siege tanks. You know, it takes a while, but he'll be able to do it. Taking a look back at Mighty's base. Citadel coming up. +1 attack there. Dragoons still being a bit of a nuisance, honestly. The eBay taking a ton of damage. In fact, will get picked off. Loses 2 goons for it. Not entirely sure if that was worth it. Starts another one right away, as well as that turret. And, of course, we have this third base up now. So SCV is going to be transferred over. 3 more factories have been added. And science facility just a little bit late here to get that +2 going. All right, let's take a look. Mighty taking his 3rd Nexus here. More gates, Templar Archives, and he does have shuttle speed. So it looks like this will turn into a Psystorm-based game. Speed shuttles with High Templars in them and just kind of like mass gateway armies. And it's very trendy to play like this right now. The thing that I'm going to be most interested in here is when Mighty decides to add in arbiters, right? That's kind of the thing that I'm going to be looking for, right? Because the High Templar based play is very, very strong. It like kind of smashes Terran attacks. It can harass their economy. It kind of makes Terran turtle a little bit more. So it's really good in a lot of ways, but it's hard to kill your opponent. And I think that arbiters are very oftentimes the way that a Protoss wants to kind of get into those more options of being able to actually bust expos a bit easier. But we'll see about that. So everyone does have their own style. So Zealot Legs is almost done. Psystorm is already on the way here. Zealot's starting to get added. Scan with a few Vultures out on the map. We have that 5th Nexus starting up. And this is, yeah, kind of interesting, like taking the 5th here as opposed to here. That makes the 6th base a lot easier to take since you already have this area clogged up with cannons and whatnot. Oh, a little bit of a drop here from Scan. Really, really nice. Doesn't look like he gets that much damage done, but he gets a really nice scout. He picks off a few probes and whatnot. I would say it was... Oh, he actually even saved the tank at like 1 health, so very nice. Ooh, picks off a High Templar. Okay, well, this drop actually turned into something pretty reasonable. Now, it's not the end of the world for Mighty by any means, right? Like, you can lose a High Templar and a couple Zealots and a cannon and a little bit of mining time. It's not going to be a game anything. Oh, my God. That, though, look at that. Brings back in the 6 health siege tank, gets 1 volley off. That kills the clumped up probes coming back to mine. That was a beautiful 200 IQ move from Scan. Beautiful drop. All right, taking a look at where we're at. Do we have the extra command center? There it is. So about a third of the way done for that 4th base for Scan. Continuing to rally out. Not down that much supply. Only down 21 supply. That's actually pretty reasonable for right now in the game. You know, if you don't kind of attack each other, if there's no real play between the 2 players, 12 minutes is when Protoss maxes out. So you can see there's been like a lot of scuffles, and that is pushing that back. But that actually has boded very well for Scan because he's only down 20 supply. You can be down like 40 supply at this point in the game. And it's still okay for Terran if that's kind of the way that it went. Now, a lot of Dragoons coming over the Zealots as well. Yeah, he can't break that. Absolutely not. Definitely does not have a big enough advantage to do anything like a bust right now, I would say. High Templar is waiting in that shuttle. Well, I mean, he sees a lot of Vultures leaving the area, so maybe he'll try to bust. But again, I don't think that he can. You would need the best Psystorms ever to really bust through here. Like, if he actually got the clumps of units there, that would be pretty strong. All right, the Vultures did go out on the map laying some mines as they go towards that 5th base location. These Vultures laying some additional mines here as well. High Templar shuttles still kind of roaming about. More gateways on the way. Double Forge is upgrading. And, I mean, Mighty 180 still. Looks like he does end up losing a decent amount of probes here. So a little sacrifice there from Scan. Hurting that economy a little bit. That 4th CC in position. Little does Mighty know that the command center is waiting for the SCVs to be sent up. Now, Scan going to try to push up this hill. This might be the moment for Mighty. Here we go. Starts to attack, move in a little bit here. Oh, that shuttle would have been the sickest pick-off. 4 High Templars in it. and it wasn't very high on health. That could have been amazing for Scan. Does miss that. And pulls back into a nice position. So Mighty pulls back as well. What he was hoping was that the tanks would be coming uphill. Maybe you could get some Psystorms off on them and really bludgeon that army. Looks like the command center canceled the comm stat and started to fly away. Got a little bit nervous there. In the meantime, a group of Vultures out on the map again, trying to get some harassment done, but Mighty, a little bit too much on the defense for these Vultures to do anything. All right, once again, Scan starts to move up. Getting his siege tanks in position. There's no mines in front, though. Here we go. This is a big attack coming in from Mighty. Look at this. The Psystorm's going to start to come out. Some very good Psystorms land all over the place here. These siege tanks taking huge amounts of damage. Another beautiful Psystorm. The defense matrices are doing fantastically, though, and help him to hold this line. Still, a lot of siege tanks were reduced, which is quite nice. Mighty is up on 6 bases now, 75 probes, so a very healthy economy. Can definitely refill. But Scan's got his 4th base now, and he's still got enough siege tanks, right? He lost a lot of siege tanks, but he still has enough that it's not like another round of units from Mighty is going to knock him over. So, yeah, I think Scan is totally fine after that attack, but I think it was a reasonable engagement, especially at the beginning of it for Mighty. Those storms looked very powerful. Now, I did spy on the production tab with my little eye +1 air weapons. So Mighty perhaps going to think about switching into carriers at some point. We see that he is throwing down the Arbiter Tribunal as well as a 2nd Stargate. I haven't seen a Fleet Beacon, right? No Fleet Beacon as of yet. So we don't know if he's going to go carriers. +1 air attacks, no problem getting that, right? It's just so cheap. 100, 100. It takes a long time, but it's so important for carriers. So he's getting that. He's kind of prepping just in case for it. And, I mean, if scans and sees +1 spinning, then maybe he starts to overreact. Maybe he makes a bunch of Goliaths that aren't going to be as useful in the fights. Who knows? Stuff like that happens. Okay, Scan really mining up the area right now. Loving what I'm seeing as far as that goes. Mighty still holding on to the center, but Scan is starting to push up. It's getting a little bit more difficult for Mighty to hold on into the center. As long as Scan kind of pushes slowly like this, he's going to be fine. EMP on the way, as well as his 3-2 upgrades. We have 2-1 right now, so 3-2 on the way for Mighty as well. Okay, he starts to attack in. Oh my god, a 3-health shuttle just barely gets out of there. Does get one of the High Templars out. The other one dies inside the shuttle. Some storms go off, but this is almost a purely Dragoon army. Seems like this is maybe a little bit too Dragoon heavy, and it does get pushed back by the mass siege tank rather quickly. Want to take a look up here. This could be a location that he thinks about going carriers, by the way. This pylon down on the side, a lot of times stuff like that is very popular. But Arbiters are being made, getting the Arbiter energy upgrade as well. But Scan continues to push out. He's staying about maxed out. His army is super powerful, especially against something like this. Right? That is not a good PvT army right there. You definitely need more complicated parts than that. Okay, he's bringing in more High Templars. That's important. More Zealots as well. Oh, but they're going to run through the mines. That is not going to go well. Good Psystorms, though. These clumped up siege tanks taking a beating, but if you can't hit them again, it's not worth anything, right? Those can just get repaired. So we have 4 tanks that if one more storm went off, they would have died. But unfortunately for Mighty, the trade was not in his favor. Scan pushing now towards this 4th base location. That's an easy one to kill if you get a siege up over here. And then you're not that far off from the main base that has all this production. So this is getting a little bit dire right now for Mighty. All right, Scan pushing forward. You see the probes transferring these, going over to the natural ones, since it is going to be oversaturated, being sent up to his new mineral-only base up here. Looks like a little bit of a counterattack going on from Mighty. And, well, there's not that many units here. So, actually, Mighty will be able to knock this out pretty easily. Let's throw a nice storm down on those siege tanks. And it looks like the 4th base is going to take some massive damage. There are siege tanks coming back, but honestly, if he groups up his army and hits these tanks, he can kill those as well. But it looks like he's a little bit spread right now. In the meantime, Scan sieging up the Natural Expo. He's already killed that 4th base location as well. A lot of SCVs running out, so Scan doesn't lose that much of his economy. Will trade as well as he can against these tanks, but his army was a little bit too spread out here. So the Dragoon's going to be cleared. The 4th base going to float back. And by the way, during all this, Scan did end up taking a 5th. He's got some greatly placed vultures around as well to try to deny new expansions here for Mighty. And this is starting to really look Scan favored at this point. It was pretty even for a while there, but looking reasonable. Well, maybe slightly Scan favored, but now at this point, it's looking more and more Scan favored. He's got this containment up, which is super strong. And now he's starting to move out onto the map. And Mighty does not have that big of an army. You can see their army supplies are about the same, and that gets a little bit scary. Both of them very, very low as far as, you know, their minerals and gas banks. So every single unit, definitely very important right now. Another Nexus gets picked off by these siege tanks oh so quickly. This mineral only not far off as well. Almost enough for an EMP here. Oh, is he going to get it? Nope. Stasis goes down. Mighty gonna pull back a little bit there. Continuing to produce. Looks like he does break out this area as well. Very, very importantly. 1 tank left over to pelt him. But yeah, it seems like Scan just has enough at this point. He's throwing down missile turrets. Like, recalls maybe one of the only things he's kind of scared of at this point. Now, that's a pretty good stasis, although he does end up getting his own shuttle. It only has a DT, not the biggest deal. Too many units here for Scan coming up. Going to force that all back, so he's not even going to be able to get the kills onto these stasis units unless he reinforces massively, and that doesn't look that possible. Like, his income is not enough to even produce out of all these gates consistently at his top left base. All right, a beautiful EMP hits both of these arbiters. And, well... okay, I mean, that's a good fight for Mighty, isn't it? He just basically deleted that whole army here. We do have the ones that just became unstasis up here that he'll want to deal with, but that was pretty good fighting. Unfortunately, though, doesn't have that many probes. His economy is down to this base and this base. And look at his supply. I mean, down 40 supply right now. So that's 20 of that is army supply. And, I mean, you can be pretty efficient with a cloaked army like this. But he's got no mana on the arbiters. He doesn't have any spells to be casted right now. It's a tough situation still here for Mighty. He's regaining some of that mana now. All right, here we go. Flies in. Oh, God. I think this is going to be it. I think Mighty has to look at this and say there is just no way to deal any more damage. His income far too low. And although he had a great run in this race survival series, he is eliminated. And Scan takes one down for Team Terran.